And then yeba between komo afa a year the new force. I almost a year 12 a year transformation, and I say industrial transformation agenda a omode eba no a omosha kwan se Ghana for eto aba ema omo candidate na otumi ebedi oman no so a enyoma omo begina so na omo ede asesa oman no ehyebre na ye ka ho asemi na ewo studio hanom no yensa aka eye Hubert Baidoo or a lead economic analyst for a year new force. Inti ababe yi nsem no ato ho 1111 na afi no de nchemu kakra the how no de abrayen na ene no enya me nko a na mene Hubert ebe kasa ko Joseph Adankwa enso ewo hanom a eya odibi ebe tutum membubo eye pillars no eso na afi no yen hyase pillar no banko ene say 16 regional industrial revolution or the ebeshe ho na a year first water transportation and a sub-regional railway energy city and technology hub obeye reserves and no a number 4 national sovereign wealth fund and also obey establish saso and a senate revolution eka ho industrication and as any industrialization any educational their boom saso and environmental and human rights protection apostolic government Ghana's first $50 billion a year dollars and also Ewahanum national security and data protection and Apila 12 no area sports and creative industry. Na mshare enyoma we na emwa dia etumi ekache eye me I the first water transportation and sub-regional a year railway no nti ho ena mede ebesha se say Hubert ubetumi edi inchirimu kakra aba say mohwe eye mo leader evision na owo ema oman Ghana na eya ye de nsem ni nyina eba abonten na yaka no ebia fefefe na eba na implementation and eye ye de back into fruition na problems aba ho kwan ben ena new force mo leader ene mo amutai na chi no mo hwe say start 12 pillars ya mo dia bai mo betumi achieve
yo minuaba anopei medawase na mema wachen so oni watiefo nyina na yenyina yenua panyi nanakwamebediako anopei so mema na chen kese pa oni new force emebuno emrante ene mamba wa etu ho asi ho se opese oje oman yi edisi ho ema nchirima na o questioner webisa on the 12 pillars for economic freedom no ubisa on the how na eya na emprempi you know me chere ensemu a ya na me pese me shase free the why na se ote why na sia the how becomes glaringly obvious. It becomes more apparent to you. Name so well who know why not. Now I say how no we chiri. And no na ebema wadwena ya say enkomo na ye die no obi be say e over ambitious and I say enye achievable. Now so we hwe oman Ghana ye ne aman bi to say Singapore any South Korea and a chassis. And so ko Singapore now share and your ma or moya. Now Timu say Ghana catch pa. So ko South Korea now her new ma maya. In fact Ghana catch pa. Say what class and carry. And you ask yourself, say, and yet na omo it to me achieve and your mom to me achieve na ye yen to me anyesa.
Okay.
Well, this is not the time to complain. But baby Ghana ejina say no. It's time for us to find the locus of the line of least resistance. Mekasa the me patch say a cat chichi dia edaho. Any the complexity of the problems that you will say no. your actions are you take it as a people and as leadership no. As I say, actions are a canoe from name so profit na was no a dorsum pa. That's what I mean by the locus of the line of least resistance. Now, in doing so, no, you start by thinking, say, when it comes to the area of transportation and as a regional connectivity, what is the best possible option? And only pillar 2 now, what they shall say, you know, water transportation and sub-regional railway network. Na ye shall say ye ka ensure ho asem se esese ye dredge ye water bodies no rivers no ne keka bom ne connect se be ya e betumi move products goods enipa cheaply across all the regions no na ebinum maliciously di agro nanso so nkomo bi wo ho a ye mfa ni agro oman bia ni ho a develop ya wanfa ninsu anya adwuma. So because if you have heavy machinery essay or transport it regionally the fa kwan so a enye economically effective. One, o say kwan no. Two, o blockade other road users. Three, enye cost effective. In so the hokwa.
Okay.
Now, if you don't give the water bodies work to do, the devil will find work for them. And when galam say yeah ka ho asem. So no that hokwa a obi amfanya hwe. And come ede emebunu no. Enti so obi chere say sika okọ hye ensuo na se a ofi so nkotu. Obetu. Na so senka ensuo yi da hɔ yi ene ye de atwitwa canals kama ena ferries gu so cargos nam so ena etwe neoma free Ghana enam mu white voter ede fro so hɔ kɔ Burkina ebi free so enso ba betwam fa wanchi fa time ede kɔ Bondoku e Côte d'Ivoire e free hɔ atimi ba ase a de besi pra kire sɛ ekwan bɛn na enipa bɛfa so obetimi akɔsɛ nsuo no. We are not making use of the things we have. And that is one of the things that you person you solve.
Yes, mo 12 pillars here. As and your mom na esusu. And the amount of investment I was say come because as you put it, no, ensure for example, say no, ya say no, it would take a lot more. Say you didn't you know ebeba at a certain level and sample movishi no ashasiye. And can I ensure that ho a yen ho no so yen ne hwe a ene ensure that ho in its natural form amoko akoye bibia fa ho but see no you need to restore and somewhere more what is the investment plan ehim fa na mo sha ase
Enuntina me sha ase no me ka say if you have the why the how becomes glaringly obvious. Now this is just a rhetoric. Who be say insuo na say afei na ye kwasha ase abe cleaning insuo no aye say my question is say do we have to do it?
Okay.
So say esse ye dia ene kwan papa bia e wo ho a esse ye fa so no esse ye fa so. Now I'm assuming say sika no a ye de beye no e wo he. I'm assuming say o question no that's the import. Between 1970 and in Premprea make say sika nko a ayira every Ghana so say every oman mu ekọ aman foforo so a ye nhunu akiri hwehwe more than $50 billion. $50 billion. Eno ye de yetumi atresi aka say sika we ye nhunu ewo he. Every year, according to Auditor General's report, you lose over $3 to $4 billion in corruption. Afibia. Naturally say, if you have a leadership wa, obey to me a block corruption. na waplug ade a me friend say systemic leakages ya e hono nko no e save best $20 billion for your first term of office. Now so person odreje canal no enye billions o hundreds of millions. Say person o clean in so na ye wo eni so ade hunu ba kono using the method be a friend is bioremediation. Na bioremediation, you know, and yes, you kofa abrofo efra brochire no mabe say adwuma no. Oko KNUST. Your researchers, any scientists bebre ohonoma, they are not being put to use. Okay. Aya nipa bebre ka say Ghana and nkrofo abo degree nkrofo, if they don't have the funding, you cannot see their usefulness. Okay. Some nkrofo we nyina no human resources no egu hokwa yemfa nya adwuma because the leadership don't have a will to change this country or to turn our fortunes around. It is all beside this is our approach.
Okay.
But so if you say number one, if you are able to deal with illicit financial flow, if you're number two, if you're able to deal with corruption, dream ketash, say can any project, if you're my or man wa kunya si betimi nyesika. And it will be somewhere around $20 billion. Because say whether the New Force movement acting as I the costings for a nema ahodronwa why am I to the same. And this is just one. For example, ABI, they say we want to use water transportation. That's one of the key things that you would want to do. We should not also be lost of the fact that there will be equally other competing and near was said more buying. So in all, within the first year, and how much is it going to cost us for dredging the our water bodies? How much is that going to cost us?
Good question. Now I think in my previous submission, I've given you an overview of some of the costs or some of the things that you pay any the cost you incur. Now I gave you an example. Say, Odreja, it doesn't cost billions. It costs a little over $100 million. So now Oshe pillar 10 of the 12 pillars. We talk about raising Ghana's first $50 billion.
Yes.
Because we appreciate to say, and your mana yabobosono, and your nyoma sebi edafum. Nenso so a nyoma ehia esese ye. Say ya nya o maino ntimi enkonenim. Say ya nya o maino ntimi emfane tumapa emfra. Enti in pillar 10 no ye chere ekwan a ye befa so a ye betumi arezi sa 50 billion no. And in tranches, na yede afande enyoma bia etete sa eno nkoda nchen. Pillar 4. We talk about reserves. Now, the entire sa reserves no ehu hia ne say we your mind na say uni enyoma bi to say gold reserves, oil and gas reserves, mineral reserves uni bargaining power. Na ba konso so a edimu pa kese nso so ye foreign exchange reserve. Se we need foreign exchange reserve wa o currency no de bia na esini trase. So now if you are able to build up or shore up these reserves na said ye kano in pillar 5 you build a national sovereign wealth fund. Sa fund no will delocalize how we do investment in this country.
So how are you going to raise sa 50 billion no? I am thinking say 20 billion no of isika efa baby no eba beka sa 50 billion no.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Na michirimuba. Now, when you are able to build the reserves and you have an autonomous independent body which is the National Sovereign Wealth Fund, no? omo trade sa reserves yi na omo kura bargaining power sa National Sovereign Wealth Fund no bo oman no bosia so I'm say the ade ni city no because ufa oman bi to say England omo too gold wo ho nanso so omo gold reserves per the Bank of England report no etwam 310 tons yeah the largest producer of gold in Africa no your reserves no nansemu and our modern numbers be to ho but no 15 tons so when you have the political will to build up sa reserves here sa independent body na eyo man na dia no eno asa bo oman ne bosia now there is no need to go to the IMF. So there is no need to go to the World Bank. Yako IMF 17 times. Ni nyina anye yi. Oman bi te Ghana, eni se yako IMF kobo bosia 3 billion pe.
Would it be fair to say ebia unai ensimunti no you see things differently? Because on my we have had government ababeka say baby na ye jina na ye hu ni ye nim say sa na net ye.
For 30 to 40 years no. You bet man can say ye nine ensimunti na ye hu ni ye. Because susuampa say ade no unimu ya 30 years de enkawaye 20 years de enkawaye so enti ma ye leaders no excuses say ebia adwuma no den dodo ana say eboro ya ho den so as a people enti na wo ntumi nye and I keep saying it again me say they don't have the political will to develop this country. They don't care about the Ghanaian people. Na Ghana for no yen so na ya mo sa akwanya no e na omu di embone. Yen ya mo sa akwan no. Because me di kan no oman bi te se Ghana aye too gold wa enne ababeye o how kese wa oman mu na yen so ani asai na yen tumi nya reserves gold reserves of even 100 tons a day after more than 67 years of independence. Now between 2014 and 2016, gold on kwa a year free o mayimu. The year you are India on kwa na eko over 150 kilograms. As at the time, maybe yes, I researched in 2002, no, nature made $3 billion. We go that ayako India on kwa
unaccounted for.
Unaccounted.
Yeah, so go PPMC. PPMC cannot account for that. Quantity of gold say free on my money.
They are smuggled. And we India and they are Dubai, yenim. They are Switzerland, yenim. They are Canada, yenim. It's what we say ujuni in full circular. Na utimi edwe ni egeji leakages no 50 billion no kra na ya kan utimi se eswa. Si any brese ye pese e develop oman ya. Just by plugging leakages, you bet me raising more than $50 billion in 10 years. And they are building massive infrastructural projects. And this is the vision of nanakwamebediako.
Now, a year more 12 pillars as a buying, and I say as a movement, once I say a table say, yeah, but obviously, the moon to be for BBR and free, you need to start from somewhere. Then a year more top priority say, yeah, but this will be our first and I say initial focus. I bet me I trickle down about am I to me achieve 12 pillars now.
Good question. Now, like I say, there has to be a reason and a motivation for everything. And as such, how you prioritize them. Your problem now, as a country, a complex. And complex problems require complex solutions. Now, share oman Ghana. Ghana nyina ejina Accra. Ghana nyina.
And I say yama nejina Accra.
Yama na bejina Accra. Se upie free Accra. Na se okukọ even regional capitals need to say Sunyane ene Tamale ne adia. Enkoyi. We are regional capitals and your remotest areas. Enkoye. Now within Accra no. So what a cantonment? Now peer free cantonment. Now remu now nam aboko bi no near the idea to move free baby ko baby.
Okay.
So and you begin to think, say, why has it happened this way? And why does it continue to happen? Why have we allowed it to happen? Greater Accra, the land size, you know, 2% of Ghana entire land size. And so more than 60% of all internal migrations are towards Greater Accra and that's Accra. And more than 70 to 80% of taxes are Yaji Ghana in Efri Accra. And no, I will say, we first need to deconcentrate Accra. In deconcentrating Accra, no, you move to devolution of power. And then you move to fiscal decentralization. Now, Sanyoma miensa we are mabosono. Minimise emu deep nenso so oma me kwan a me yi no mako. We shall say free fiscal decentralization na. Tiawa de pese ye kire nyina ne say. E wo say ye dwiri sika no free enkran na ye petigu the other 15 regions na aye dormant no. Sika no mpie ma. Na o hwe 15 regions no so a aka na mineral resources any arable lands nso a ewo ho no ye nyusu mpa akoye galamsey wasenso na wi no asa smuggle de ko India no asa smuggle e de ko Dubai no asa smuggle e de ko Zurich enti adentina making use of SAR 15 regions here aye dormant by investing in mineral plants and agro-processing plants are ubetumi create 2 giant industries in every region in Ghana. We're heading. But because your consciousness no new level your say we have to fiscally decentralize the country into and the way our governance is structured power ni nyina concentrated in Accra Jubilee House. Inti obia na obewi ni power no na ye ne de. Mpeso obejemu. Enu nti na ye ka say you need just 12 ministers. Now for your regions you appoint chief executive officers. We be making sure say industries no ye be build our regions ye taking into account the demographics of the region, the attributable minerals in the region, the arable lands in the region, and the skill sets of the inhabitants, as CEOs and the regional ministers. Because constitutionally, regional ministers, are just representatives of the president. President. Nti operationally wo nya bibia e dem fa so e ma region no nti die ntina ye twa omuka e die ntina ya mo bomuro mutitim e die ntina mo long cruises.
It's a matter of a year KPIs say as a regional minister ade ye pese we e wo region any we dwuma ye de ahye won sani obviously ye can't regional minister say ko ye ni ade meboa.
Excellent.
But before answer, am I getting the sense you also have a problem with our local government system? Said and what do you seek to change? If you're looking at like one literature that I read say our system is not decentralization, it is concentration because everything is centered at the top from Jubilee House. Na afi yama omu ya pone to me no nketenkete e dia ma aban ensia na mu fo mu wo mantema ho. Ensachira be na say Ghana for to aba dia ma mu ebeye ewo mu. Nsusuaso be na sansachira no ebenya ewo bosha mo hye particularly said ebeye ambutimi enya sika e de ayempuntunwuma ewo sa miamia hodo.
Good. Now, a question here will be saying, medikan eyi ano kakra bi with the 16 regional CEOs no. Enna mapone ho kakra bi with the fiscal decentralization say e was edwiri sika editing the 15 regions no. Now one way to do that yengeye nenso so new force ana say owura nanakwamebediako eda na koma so say oba obetumi aye ene say fund the district level no sa fund no president no ene control muntie ni ba the administrator of the district assembly common fund no president ene appoint no and sa administrator no so ensign ni independence to make technical considerations in terms of fund allocation. Now, say, we are into investment. One of the most important things in investing a fund or asset allocation. Say, no, in quote, pseudo powers to make that allocation, you know. One kasa any ne husu to me all use technical considerations say sika no ekwa ha e na beboa na mu je se otwen esoro hofo omonte district ho omonni constituency ho no ma be kire ne se e wo se odi sika ne fa ha to the extent so omutimi ka se party here sika enti se e de fa ha ya mfa ha ye be lose power ye be lose sa constituency we a e be no man na ye
there will be an issue of mismanagement and as a misappropriation, but say obia or mine afau say koye e be a district chief executive yama o mandate unim dia was oye and you report back to the crowd or ma wa kwenya ne say koye kodisa adwuma no say dia wo observe dia wo feedback how dey ba no and e be kire dia be direct to say koye
yeah me nuaba who can be say KPIs and as you say what the mandate abeka ho obe to me ama me KPI nenso so me mandate no enye mandate e de impuntu eba kuro mu me KPI no will not revolve around impuntu nyuma because me mandate no is not about to say me build the industries e de mfaso eba kuro nim and this only KPI free me ho a enko ho and this is what we want to change.
Okay,
your person mandate no say 16 regional CEOs no down to the level of the district chief executives no omu bie nyuma.
Okay,
na nyuma na wo bie no nipa say no afa omo na enye nipa na wo fa omo no susu keke adwuma na ye profitable ana is it sustainable, is it self reinforcing enye say we bie adwuma no na susu je say central government no sa akwaje bosia de besem adwuma na we bie no eno ankasa etua edumayefo ne ka within the district, within the constituency. Now to me sa mandate we ya afei na oba be ma KPI no afei na wanya sa minimum acceptable requirement no say bosomi aso kotawana ba afei aso me results wen
so what man benchmark already benchmark nti the KPI na ma say e bi afei no mo no obetimi aye sa na ma ba ko mienu miensa we first quarter the catcher say no enu ni why ana say untimi nya
sadety
say na eyi kra wo ho what eyi wo ho siga e wo ho a what I'm saying is that the institutions no e wo ho ebia yankasa yesu ne ye ban ene ekwan ayafa so ma ye governance no aye otherwise no kan ya hye bibia it would just be a matter of ekwan ayafa so aye, not necessarily say regional minister maybe am the CEO instead of regional minister, but regional minister no in the edwuma was so ye no say ye hwe say oh ye edwuma no ama pay out bibia ma wa sanka din ni de enche dan here
me know about you the American say enye edi minister no keke na ye change no aye ni CEO the function of nipa no a odade na no so the regional minister no enkomo ameni wudi no they don't have that mandate constitutionally wɔn ni executive duty say wɔn abɛtumi ahyɛ project bi ase origin hɔ so no nti wontimi enka sɛ yɛn na yɛayɛ adwene sɛ yɛn pɛ sɛ yɛbɛyɛ adeɛ no wɔn ni saa mandate no
and they say your mind problem
very good so nti na make say your problem no complex and complex problems require complex solutions so and we appreciate to say it is a multi-level approach to solving these problems. And yes, you have to build it ground up. Now, you're paying for no one say loopholes ni ade we nyina ewo ho. But essence say Bibiano turns back to them and gives absolute power to them untino. Omo mpese omo besesa. Sa structures no. But such structures no so na once say oman no enye nti wo de hade o we have to have the acceptance say the regions no should be semi-autonomous
then they can decentralization ya de nyina
ya but yemfa nya adwuma enna yenkyere the how
exactly
newforce nanakwamebediako is the first candidate or kase we need to appoint CEOs and oust the ministers no and with the CEOs no because no executive duty to make the region profitable region no I was running it as a corporation I was running it as a business so because they are sub-national units and to say Ghana no be na yetwa kakra so into say obedi Accra baby said you Accra no you see you Accra Kumasi you see you Accra Bogatanga you see you Accra Tamale an upgraded version to me sa consciousness na build it up e ho na wo call the Dubai level no e ho na wo call the Texas level no but such structures we anywhere we dey build it on my no.
So it will mean that there is a possibility of a change of the systems because
absolutely
now and this will go into constitutional review because you're now going to appoint intelligent and no I was the combra sebedjamu e mamra sebedjafo egitum say ya mamra na nkenkane say e was yi aye mantem suafo no ye firi ho ama se ye akandifo aye de mantem ahodo no nyina e hwe omunsa enyemre emmamo enche emma aye the new force because you know how it is I mean difficult sometimes it is especially say you want certain entrenched clauses within the constitution enyemre mamo and how confident are you say even say Ghana for Twaba ama the new force is here na Mudisa and she said, Cotomba Sebia, or Brabia, Montimi and Masabia Bebre, or Masabia. Sa, my drink Chilana Mutrimu, for the Cotoma anymore, will meet me as a child with their mom.
Okay. O question no, no. O question no, say, and your my Kayana no. A year, dear, Nenso, a bedjimre. The second aspect, and so say, because say, and your money be a year already entrenched in the constitution, you know. Neye ebeyeding. Now, me taking it from the first one, which is the time, no okase ebejemre no. Ade no ye pa na se yempe.
Oh yepe.
Yepe. Si yepe pa dia. Enye na the question of say ebejemre and say enyemre no irrelevant.
Special safety baby.
So no. Minim say Christopher eti enkomo ya yedi kakra. Jacob in the Bible Oye say ope Rachel aware no enfie say na edi ansa na onya na aware no Odo for 7 years Odo for 7 years no echi no wenya no onya de ope no onya no ye de ompe ene ma no e mo san kodo bim until so onya de open the nti na make say ope bibia you do whatever it takes so no Emma yemfa sa enwema way emma politicians no excuse to do what is wrong and what does not benefit the nation. Over the entrenchment of some of the provisions are our constitution ni munsu so a maka baby say no human law can immunize itself against human intervention. Yɛmaa no a yɛfrɛ no constitution no mamu ma yɛnyɛ yɛ ho sɛ mmara no sɛbi ɛfiri so na ɛbɛtɔɔ fam a yɛ ho hwɛ a ɛnyɛ yie ɛyɛ yɛni Ghanafoɔ ne yɛtwerɛ mmara no ɛna yɛtwerɛ mmara no the motive a ne yɛde ɛtwerɛ mmara ne sɛ ɛbɛbɔ yɛn Ghanafoɔ ho ban na ma yɛasetena ne yɛabrabɔ atu mpɔn na sɛ yɛatwerɛ adeɛ no awie na ɛmmoa yɛn a ɛni sɛ yɛbisa question sɛ yɛbɛtu agu anaasɛ yɛntu ngu adeɛ no mmoa yɛn into the answer no ɛwɔ mo ho na onto the third aspect which is a sub question a ɛwɔ wɔ no woni MPs nti wobɛdɛ na wonya parliamentary approval ɛne adeɛ MPs no a wɔn wɔ parliament no they are not there to serve themselves they are there to represent their constituents. A constituents no the Ghanaian people. It is a MP so one year. The will and the power resides in the ordinary Ghanaian. Or don't call parliament. It is not a question about the MPs. It is a question about whether the Ghanaian people want this or not. And your MP no MP be anyone to meet in Ghana. Yami yagre akoye se MP no chama oye nipa bi a oso bi ama wote se yani Ghanafoɔ na yani Ghanafoɔ ya bom ne aka se ye nyina ye kɔ parliament ho a enye yie enti wo kono ko represent yasoma no ono som yen se ye ka ye beka so ya kwada ye yasoma ne se onko som yen enti ono no ntimi nka nkyere Ghanafoɔ se de ye se ye pɛ na ebeboa oman no wo se me ma approval. If you have a president or political will, sadly went to me sit that. Now, as I said, the last 30 to 40 years, we've had leaders they don't care about the country, The Ghanaian people have built a frame of reference. And say, and possible, and the politicians have seen it and they've taken advantage of it. It was last let me tell you, Nancy, I'll make you free a friend is saying, me can't move Hunipa, boy, opinion power parliament. Not all my comments, opinion and nanakwamebediako, the newswadi and the 16 regional CEOs near there. And the usual game I want to play, not trying to make fun of it, hey, within the old cat now, person you say, cry just over parliament, dear Ben. So they know the truth, but they are deliberately dishonest to the Ghanaian people.
My name is Hubert Baidoo, I am lead economic analyst for the newforce and because I nanakwamebediako angasa na studio am for Felice because the voice na yanko sekakra enti am for Felice on one na studio hanom no comment ni bi aba me fantum na fe yento aso Richard Mensah say NPP and NDC have failed Ghanaians, but still these two parties want to rule us. They should stop gambling with the mind and the future of Ghanaians. Joseph say vote nanakwamebediako for president 2024. Thomas and Sasa Srako, the new force is surely appointed to unlock and initiate Africa's greatness, known as the new golden age of Africa. Aaron Babako say good morning to you. The saying the pen is mightier than the sword holds true in this situation. The media, as the fourth estate of the realm and the strongest among them, has a crucial role to play in ending the Galamsey menace. The media has the power to raise awareness about the destructive effect of Galamsey, mobilize public opinion against it, and put pressure on the government to take decisive action. It is imperative that the media rises to speak out against Galamsey and make noise about this critical issue in order to bring about an end to this destructive practice. Thomas Ekankan said, nanakwamebediako is a genius given for Africa's emancipation. Eric Enim say, wisdom is speaking. It's about time we took them serious. The force is here. Every youth is for the force. Sasso Ena Edem Dogbe say, I will vote for you now. Eric Enim say, why the nation is not listening? We must vote massively. This interview must be shared on all platforms. New Force, you have my vote. Michael Ananti say NKB for President 2024, inshallah. Gray Mains Ghana say 100%. Mary Wayne say the New Force movement in Idaswaba and Numa Bibri. In fact, messages no Edo Super. Frank Asante, keep up the good job, my brother. Hubert and no Ewahanum. Anointed Psalm, this is what we call communication not the insults from those NPP and NDC, and also Ewo Hanoma. Bismarck Dufour, the new force is here for new Ghana, new mindset with new people. The new force truly has a vision. And to wait in a comment in Ibia, Ebi Ekaho, Edos Waha. Mr. Fa, question, Hubert, now, or the final thoughts, and so at Ghana, the interview, no,
critical. So, as an economic advisor, critical to economic management has been issues. A car, a day, the city's depreciation, our expenditure issues. We overspend. We don't cut our coat according to our size. We know we have issues with revenue generation or revenue mobilization. If you look within West Africa, sub-region, and that's the Sub-Saharan Africa, about 13. Tax to GDP ratio, about 13%. Within the sub-region, you will include Ahodwa, 16, 17, maybe 18%, 14, 15, any area can home. Now, what are you going to do? New force movement. Number one, to deal with issues of revenue generation, any tax. Ghana for Brenwa Kasa Afa Etwahodwa. What will you do differently? Ebano mbosia ahodo aye bo aye di juma ewo oman mu. What will be your approach on mbosia bo ewo oman mu anase amanone? Already we know say government this has to nko abontene nko bosia family di juma oman mu ntino. There is a crowd out ewo the local financial system no buying the bonds bond town for to businesses in bi enye. What approach will you use? Will it be local or international? How do you intend to stabilize? Maybe some questions be boom. How do you intend to stabilize the city's depreciation consistently? As we speak now, a free sabre, if you have a free January, every sabre. If it's me, I can say, estimate say the city has depreciated somewhere around 20-24% against the US dollar. Kwambe na mobe faswa obetimi amasidi na hoode no etumi egina brane cost of living de ba ko a edaga na fo nyina akomaso ebrane abrane nyina kosoro amanfo eho kyerewom den na mbetumi ayo asesa ne mamu adwumayo de ba ko no so Ghana fo ehwe ne mu se amanyoko anaso bi obi ni tiri se Ghana fo ntene so aba no Obeso bitimi mabunu no ahodo bebre no a enwuma 14.7% unemployment rate anu ode ne mabunu no pa e de no mba ya fasa enema a mawo so wadama
Sifa o question here exams and session B but mebo modern say me ano kama aban bia no a we serious so set or per se or move the mind to the next level no yo enyoma mienu bia esese aban no edwene ho kese pa na sa nyoma mienu no ba ko kosoro no na ba ko ekofom de esese ekosoro eye employment anase adwuma ena de esese ekofom inflation. Enti enwuma ekosoro no na yese o make sure so say o arrange say inflation so ebe bafo. Se utumi achieve sa balance we ya o mani mu be de pa.
Amanfo nya nwuma ye. Mom ebrane brano say de enema bo ekosoro no.
Na ti hoda
anase team okay.
So Inti so share a mind be to say Switzerland. That's what they've done. Now, to achieve sa enyoma we say no. Ye won nyoma miensa nso a esese uma weni eko ho. De di kan ade a ye friend say prudential regulation. Now, sa prudential regulation, you know, emra the banking system, financial institutions, insurance, enomani ade. Na make sure say banks and insurance are a wo oman mu no omugina a solid foundation so. enkoba ne se ochina ye be sori yesi ni nyina agu we se misika ya we se ayesi eno ya number 1 de etosu mienu eno ehun hia pa na ye relevant to question here we be say ade a friend say fiscal balance na ebe sound say brofo kakraka na so so common sense. Cut your coat according to your size. Adia unu se ehia no enkobo no bosia. Bosia wo kobo a unu se sa bosia we me de be hye dwumadie we mu a emma me returns a enough to pay back the loan and give me a net positive return. No sa bosia no ye mo.
Okay.
When paying for the fiscal discipline to achieve this.
It's no montiasia na say.
Wo montiasia he minia. Min to min tiasia da na min yin to mu da se me mete wani mi. Me minimum woman and I say you experience the Vice President of Ghana. Min tiasia da. Min tiasia da say me no ka say minimum woman chain empanimfo a o ma be finance ministers ne ade atwam. They know what I'm saying times 10. But my catcher will say, if you don't care about the people, your intelligence don't matter. So, we have more PhDs in government than all the G7 countries combined. And so yempani forno abwa degrees bebe akwesi nyamiani. So because they don't care about the country ntino omano entimi nkoso nyoma ya bebe bosi they know but obo bosia no a owone cat wo bosia ni mu na omaya esese de bia yeswa kenten edeko bosia ntina na make catch say when you build the reserves omaya bosia. When you create jobs, because when nipa when you and necessarily a juma a ketremisha, some crofo eco proper quite na bushumi among 300 Ghana cedis. And yes, every money in America, name a juma, it gives people disposable income. Now, when people have such disposable income, now they have good jobs. You are there, friend, is a long-term orientation, and I say time preference. You lower their time preference. So I say, omu to me sika edawa, omu pre omu se, omu baby says he cannot net. Sir, and you instigate the culture of delayed gratification. And to see Canada, what they be Ghana bosia. You. It is also mind me to say Japan, almost the capa. That to GDP, a 150%. But me can say, me do go Japan now. Crop papers do be uncle. So I didn't hear. Many Jumai. Ubenya Jumai. Now so almost the capa. Only the entire almost can answer any problem more. A Kana almost is owed to the Japanese people. The debt is denominated in the Japanese yen. So the Japanese people have trust in the Japanese government. They have disposable income. They have a low time preference. And for music, IMF. So free or mine now call IMF, now call World Banker. And then your friend is external debt no. So external debt no any no. And you say it is the type of debt we owe. Because Obusiano are denominated in the US dollar and the euro, you don't have control. So, and I also own produce systemic leakages, and I will hear or minor. Also, own net exporter. Own refining gold. Own processing cocoa. Own processing banjia ubia. Omaswa no atwatchene. Omaswa no atwatchene. A better no money developer. Missing your money making and telephone, they know it more than me times 10. But they don't care about us. This is what we want to change.
Hubert, unfortunately, no, 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 other pillars, no, so I think so we concentrated on about 2 or 3. Other pillars, so now, the final words, so at was so.
Yo, Minia, enti pillar 1 no, 16 regional industrial revolution. The agenda, ne say, yebema the 15 other regions na aya dormant, no, yebe activate yomo by building industrial plants, ewo ho. 2 no so water transportation and sub-regional railway network. You integrated the entire country all towards the borders. Na Burkina no so adem so atwaso, and this is how you integrate Africa economically. The next one so you share energy sector so because yes and you na okania na o so any control over energy tariffs. Obi anyhow this can be show my name so build the industry because Kenya won't mean honka. The next one so reserves maka ho asem bebre afen so the National Sovereign Wealth Fund ono eba be manage sa reserves no wa build no na ono the reserves no atredi when you bargaining power na when you sika or they be bo oman no bosia se be ya yemko IMF emma external debt no enye bibre afen so ye industrial education and also so ye pese ye educate the Ghanaian people say be ya they will think industrially na enye no nko so we want to build a national conscience so say ye pese Ghana for edo Ghana ye pese oman no we care about it na ye dwene ho yi because sana Japan for ye sana America for aye afen so slate so ekwan a yafa so manage no ye ni ho ye pese ye sesa no and we are coming with the snake revolution and no yen train say you betwen within 60 years 65 years afen na okwakoje 10 million bosome and answer 1,000 cities bosome ni nyina ye enyo message sesa no afen so number 8 no so your environmental and human rights protection ye shek galam say and say the yensu essay afen so journalists to the be etimi bobituo menkai abusuafo ya na emoje nwuno no na ebesi nne ye hunu nipa ekunkumom je say enoma ne doso entiminu maka enwotwe edikan na maka 50 billion so de beka ho a yaka 12 ministers ntiem say 12 ni nyina na anopai mama mekwan ya discuss na meni so yi pa medamase
ye beda se pa meni sefa ye ni Hubert Baidoo ono ene lead economic analyst for the new force ono ena odi enchirimu kakra abreyen efa the new force on 12 pillars omo edi aba abontia eka se nyame ya dom na Ghana for eti omo se to aba mo a enyo mo ba omo ebe abeye